Philippines, TIMA members provide medical services and supplies to Typhoon Haiyan survivors in Tanauan, Leyte Province. In Taiwan, eco-friendly, phosphate-free detergents help keep Taipei's water supply clean and safe. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. In the Philippines' Leyte Province, following a large-scale free clinic and aid distribution in Tacloban City, TIMA members from 6 different countries traveled to the town of Tanauan to tend to those still living in tents since Typhoon Haiyan struck last November. Knowing that many residents have developed skin problems due to unsanitary conditions, TIMA members handed out medicated soap, cream, and other necessities to help.
Residents filled the bustling streets of Tacloban, Leyte Province, a sign that many are slowly recovering from Typhoon Haiyan. Following a free clinic and aid distribution in Tacloban City, TIMA members traveled to the town of Tanauan to tend to those still living in tents set up by the local government. To better manage the area, information such as the number of residents, their age, and gender are clearly listed outside. With daytime temperatures soaring to nearly 40 degrees Celsius, the residents' tents become an oven during the day. Furthermore, as tents are set up right on the ground, water leaks in whenever it rains. To make the situation worse, with mud everywhere, residents' feet are often soaked, thus many have developed skin problems.
One for the baby, one for her.
Knowing that TIMA members are coming, residents thoughtfully set up a tent in which doctors hand out medicated soap, toothbrushes, and other necessities. TIMA members also take the time to teach residents how to apply their medication properly.
3 times a day. Okay?
Yes. Thank you. Other than handing out medication, TIMA members also make it a point to visit 70-year-old Salome, who was accidentally stepped on by those trying to flee their homes when Typhoon Haiyan struck. With a lack of exercise following the incident, the senior's leg appears to have atrophied.
We gave her some medication to ease her pain and taught her some rehabilitation exercises. The main reason for her muscle wasting is a lack of physical activity.
7, 8, 9, 10.
While TIMA doctors cure sickness, Tzu Chi volunteers play games with children. Thanks to everyone's effort, residents are on the road to a speedy recovery.
On April 15th, at Tzu Chi's annual board meeting in Hualien, Taiwan, local Tzu Chi volunteers took to the stage to share their efforts in carrying out Tzu Chi's 4 missions in Taiwan.
Over the years, Taiwan Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for those in remote villages and helping needing seniors rebuild their homes. Furthermore, the volunteers have also been promoting the concept of replacing liquor with tea in indigenous villages.
We have been promoting the concept of replacing liquor with tea in 5 townships and 1 town. We have organized more than 100 seminars over the years and have reached more than 5,000 people.
Through looking at each medical case, those in the audience witnessed Tzu Chi's philosophy of medicine, in which doctors not only cured the body but also the mind.
I'm very thankful to have such well-equipped hospitals for us to carry out Tzu Chi's medical missions. It gives us the chance to pass on our love and care to our patients.
The establishment of the Tzu Chi College of Technology and the Tzu Chi University some 20 years ago marked an important milestone for Tzu Chi's educational mission.
Mr. Zheng Yan hopes we can pass on Tzu Chi's humanistic values to our students and help them develop good moral character.
Tzu Chi's mission of humanistic culture is to purify the human mind, to bring peace to our society, and to create a new history for mankind.
Truth, beauty, and compassion are broadcast through DaAi TV. Every volunteer's life story is like a sutra. They help us absorb the Dharma.
With volunteers carrying out Tzu Chi's 4 missions around the globe, Tzu Chi volunteers promise to encourage more people to join their ranks in walking the Bodhisattva path.
人间菩萨踏过的都是能的步步生莲，我们一定呢就是要走入人群中，才是 行菩萨道哈。
Continuing from our previous report, earlier that day, volunteers from the 5 African nations of South Africa, Swaziland, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Lesotho took to the stage to share their progress over the past year.
When Tzu Chi first began in South Africa's Durban, there was no office, only Taiwanese businessman Pan Min Sui. It took him 11 years to train another local volunteer, but eventually Tzu Chi's missions would flourish here.
At a typical Tzu Chi gathering in South Africa, we would be inside a mud brick home like those from the old days. There would not be enough chairs, so everyone invited would have to bring their own chair. But however simple and basic the venue was, every participant was still touched by Master Zheng Yan and the Tzu Chi volunteers. They would all raise their hands and say, "We want to join you."
As local volunteers identify with the urgency to do good deeds, they actively take on responsibilities. By truly taking in the Dharma, many have learned to let go of the hatred in their heart.
The one kneeling down is actually a group leader. She is caring for this patient and offering her the Master's blessing in hopes of speeding up her recovery. However, this would not have been possible in the past as the two families were sworn enemies. After this group leader joined Tzu Chi and became the Master's disciple, she began to repent as the Master preached, "We are all one family." So she took the initiative to care for her enemy.
About 2 years ago, Tzu Chi's work began to take root in Mozambique, thanks to Cai Dailin. On her own, Cai began to plant Tzu Chi seeds in this land.
We now carry out relief distributions in 12 slums and have inspired 671 local volunteers to join us. We are very grateful for the Master's teachings, which have brought these people immense happiness.
We presented 671 volunteers, but for us, this is 0. Because I believe that we'll start counting when we really understand the message from Master Cheng Yan, whereby the 671 can be 671 contributing volunteers.
In Zimbabwe, Tzu Chi volunteer Zhu Jincai helped build a well to provide residents with drinkable water, while stationery from Taiwan helped 8,000 students from 10 schools.
天北学校的校长，他在感恩的时候，他在说。
The principal of Tenway School said that she wants to express her gratitude to Master Zheng Yan and thank the Master for the precious gifts that Tzu Chi prepared for Zimbabwe students. So on behalf of all 10 schools, she decided to kneel down to show her utmost respect and gratitude.
向上人用辛巴威最高的敬意呢，向人下跪感恩。
In Lesotho, seeds of love have blossomed as locals responded to Tzu Chi's 80-20 movement by donating 1 ton of corn and sorghum for charity relief. This proves that as long as there is love, nothing is impossible.
Tzu Chi's annual board meeting in Hualien concluded earlier this week, and today we meet Cai Dailin, who was one of the first certified Tzu Chi volunteer in Mozambique. After marrying a Mozambican, Cai started carrying out Tzu Chi's missions and spreading Tzu Chi's Dharma in the country.
For most Taiwanese, Mozambique is a relatively exotic country in Africa. However, for Tzu Chi volunteer Cai Dailin, Mozambique is a second home. Recently, she and her husband flew back to Taiwan to attend Tzu Chi's annual board meeting in Hualien.
Master Zheng Yan's Dharma is infinite. Once we have an opportunity to carry out Tzu Chi's missions, we need to seize it. Nothing can stop us from completing the volunteer training event.
Early this March, Cai Dailin led over 20 Mozambique volunteers to attend a local volunteers training seminar in South Africa. However, on their way back, they were too late to cross the border into Swaziland, thus had to spend the night on the street.
The clothing we wear is called kapulana, which is often used by African women. I often joke that it has 1,000,001 uses. That night, we spread it on the ground and slept on it. After I put my kids to sleep, I went outside and joined the other volunteers, leaving the bus for the kids and the driver. It was quite an amazing experience. Overhead, we had the sky as our roof and the ground as our bed.
In the past, Cai Dailing only slept in luxury hotels as her husband works for the Mozambique government. However, now she has learned to be open-minded and accept everything that comes her way. Back in Mozambique, Cai learned that the son of a local volunteer had been kidnapped by human traffickers.
Victoria is always ready to help. She's one of the most compassionate local volunteers we have. Though she comes from a disadvantaged background, she always gives it her all. Being such a loving person, I believe the Bodhisattvas will bless her.
Thankfully, Victoria's son found a chance to escape. During that time, Cai and her husband were there to offer Victoria spiritual support. On behalf of Tzu Chi, volunteer Cai Dailing shoulders the responsibility of Tzu Chi's missions, while planting seeds of love in her adopted country of Mozambique.
Taiwan's Feichui Reservoir is the second largest dam in the country, supplying water to some 5 million residents in the greater Taipei area. However, annual phosphorus loading into the reservoir is an estimated 18 tons, most of which comes from household wastewater. To safeguard the quality of the water, Feichui authorities have been encouraging upstream residents to use phosphate-free dish and laundry detergents. Apart from phosphorus, the average cleaning agent sold on the market also contains other toxic chemicals and endocrine disruptors, which not only put our lives at risk, but our next generation as well.
Feichui Reservoir, the second largest dam in Taiwan, has a storage capacity of 460 million cubic meters. Supplying water to the some 5 million people of the Greater Taipei area, the Feichui Reservoir needs to ensure the finest water quality. Their current challenge is how to prevent eutrophication of the dam and deterioration of water quality.
We reviewed and found that the main sources of phosphorus are actually from domestic sewage and laundry and dish detergents, which are causing the eutrophication of the dam.
To reduce phosphorus levels in the water, reservoir officials began to promote the use of phosphate-free detergents, which they provide to nearby residents free of charge.
谢谢。我们以前用过，大概反应都很好，只是用不够。
For more than a year, the 31 families of Yong'an community have all opted to use eco-friendly phosphate-free detergents, doing their part to safeguard the cleanliness of their water supply.
我们都有感觉到说，减少了很多那个坡啊。
It doesn't create as much leather, so it's easier to rinse. It leaves fabric soft and smooth.
To determine the effectiveness of the program, Feichui authorities periodically collect samples to compare and monitor changes in water quality. 250 milliliters of samples are collected from 9 different sites each time, after which they are then sealed and sent to an analysis lab for testing. Each sample goes through stringent testing. And the result is...
Based on the reduced phosphorus concentration in the water, we can say that it has decreased by 27.5%. This will also slow down the eutrophication of the dam.
Apart from phosphates, however, other chemical properties contained in cleaning agents are just as likely to pollute our waters, more specifically surfactants and endocrine disruptors.
What we are most concerned about is, apart from keeping this body of water clean, how we can protect it from endocrine disruptors, which can pollute and put the health of men and animals at risk.
In addition, chemical substances which are used in farming or medicine have also been found in detergents.
All it takes is 0.2 milligrams of permethrin in our waters, and it will kill all the fish in 24 hours. With these chemicals possibly infiltrating our reservoirs, the government has done nothing to test these chemicals.
Once these toxins are released into the environment, they will pollute our drinking water or accumulate in organisms. To get a grasp on the severity of the problem, NTU College of Public Health Professor Chen Jiayang has spent the last 3 years tracking the levels of endocrine-disrupting chemicals in the Danshui and Jilong rivers, while also analyzing the amount accumulated in fish.
We test for traces of aromatic amine compounds and traces of endocrine disruptors in fish.
Chen discovered a higher concentration of ECD in waters further downstream, and even if the nonylphenol levels are low, it is found in high levels in fish.
The bioconcentration of nonylphenol in the gonads and eggs. We can see here it is 25,000, and here it is 20,000. What this means is that these substances can accumulate in the target organ, and they can also pass through the mother to the egg, passing these contaminants to the next generation.
What is certain is that if this pollution continues, it will no doubt pass through our food chain from one generation to the next, endangering man now and in the future.
The Malaysian government has a free 11-year education program for the children of its nation. However, extra expenses that comes with such education are not subsidized. To help, since 2011, the Tzu Chi Foundation has been aiding low-income families with long-term financial assistance, which includes transportation, food, and tutoring services. In Malaysia, each child is entitled to 11 years of education. However, the other expenses that come along with schooling are something many poor families cannot afford.
While expenses have gone up, a family must spend at least $1,500 to maintain the bare minimum, like education, food, and other necessities for our families.
Expenses for 3 children comes to at least $450. If you include all the household expenses like food and rent, a family needs to make over $1,500 a month.
5,000 ringgit per family.
According to statistics in Malaysia, Selangor, the minimum expense for a family of 4 with 2 children comes to just over $1,000. Therefore, for those families making barely $300 a month, the additional expense of sending their children to school is usually too much.
Especially those who are sitting in the last classes, they don't have proper food from home, and they look very tired, and I can see there some kind of sadness in their face.
Since 2011, the Tzu Chi Foundation has been visiting schools to promote its Happy Campus plan, which provides subsidies for children from poor families. To this date, 1,975 students have received assistance.
When Tzu Chi come out with the transport facilities and food, I can see the children are more cheer. Physically, they are very active, and a little bit care in studies also, and they are improving. Most of the children can pass in their subjects.
Removing obstacles along the way, Tzu Chi volunteers have helped pave the way for these impoverished students to continue their education, thus giving them a way out of poverty. Recently in the United States, a group of students from Linden High School in New Jersey visited the Jingsi Hall at the Tzu Chi New Jersey chapter to help pack food supplies for care recipients. Although timid at first, the students quickly realized being a volunteer was fun and were glad to be of service. 13 high school students are here at the Tzu Chi New Jersey chapter to gain a new experience.
Then you'll take a look what's on that list, and you'll grab the items and you place it in one corner of the table, work your way around, and then you'll have, from right outside, you'll have a little box, and then you'll be able to pack all the items into the box.
Although a volunteer thoroughly explained each step, students from Linden High were still nervous about conquering the task at hand. However, after donning the yellow volunteer's vest, things changed.
I learned that volunteering is not as difficult and as outgoing as some people might think. It was actually fun today. So it was more of a scavenger hunt.
Everybody's very hardworking and it's always constantly moving. So they're never resting and they're always looking for someone to help.
From being nervous initially to having a great time later, these students also assisted care recipients with the computer. Teacher Helena Augustus, the organizer of this trip, is very glad for this opportunity today.
It was a wonderful experience for us, for me, and a wonderful experience for the kids because they learn something. We all learn something.
Inside Tzu Chi's food pantry, the students found their ability to give and love. As members of the Tzu Chi International Medical Association arrived in Manila to participate in the first ever Tzu Chi Dental Convention in the Philippines last week, they didn't forget to continue their daily participation in the initiative to watch Master Cheng Yen's Wisdom at Dawn broadcast to help them gain Dharma to face the day ahead. People of all nationalities have joined this morning's Dharma lecture here at the Philippines Jinsi Hall. Although arriving late last night, TIMA members who are here for the Tzu Chi Dental Convention still awoke early to listen to the Master's Wisdom at Dawn broadcast. Local volunteers also joined those from Taiwan and Malaysia to absorb Dharma that will help them face the day ahead.
And thank you for being here. I really admire our 2NC.
At the convention, dental techniques are exchanged and problems discussed. Afterwards, participants can finally relax and take it easy. Through such exchange, these doctors have gained wisdom and experience to take back home with them. In Taichung's Houli, as local Tzu Chi volunteers work around the clock to prepare prefabricated housing materials for Typhoon Haiyan survivors in the Philippines, 127 volunteers from Tainan were also mobilized to help out.
During the day, kids play around, but when the night comes, they are all alone.
Sharing his experience with fellow volunteers is Hong Wuzhen, who went to the Philippines in person and witnessed the desperate situation of the Typhoon Haiyan victims. To offer the victims temporary shelter, Tzu Chi volunteers in Taichung's Houli are working around the clock to prepare prefabricated housing units. Coming to help have been also Tainan Tzu Chi volunteers.
Today, 127 Tainan Tzu Chi volunteers are here to help with the preparation of these prefab housing materials.
Despite the hard labor of welding, drilling, and moving, these volunteers work in unison to see the task through.
We are full of joy as we can do something here in Taiwan on behalf of those victims in the Philippines.
It's like we are in the Philippines helping the needy.
We need to lay out the prefab housing units well before sending them to the Philippines.
Bathing in the joy of giving, these volunteers extend their blessings to those in need far and wide.
At the end of the show, we go to Shanghai, China, where Tzu Chi volunteers attended the Cultural Folk Festival in Pudong New District for the second year to promote environmental conservation for the planet and spiritual cleansing for the soul. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.